rely on Swift to be that bridge to get them through a very tough lane phase. Swift so far has been more preoccupied with either 1v1ing the enemy jungler or farming in the case of the first game, rather than trying to be a gank-heavy jungler that we know he can be.
Well, let's see if Swift can do just that and change it around and be that bridge that Newbee really need as we head into game number 3 between Newbee and LGD. Once again, Rumble's going to be taken off the table, so is Karma and Rise, as Ezreal and Irelia are going to be the 2 bans coming out from LGD.
Yeah, still banning that Rise from the blue side.
Vladimir's going to be the final ban coming out from LGD.
More respect giving it this time around, although it was Newbee that refused to ban the champion last time and were punished. No pun intended. That was funny, Fish.
It was. I'm not saying
I laugh
funny.
at your bad jokes.
I was laughing, I just wasn't making sounds. You can laugh without making sounds for a screen.
Yeah, but the thing is they can only hear our voices. See, I tried this, where you would make your crappy jokes, and I would smile, but I wouldn't laugh audibly, and then people are like, wow, you're just really mean to him.
But you are.
I know.
That's Trundle's going to be the first lock-in coming in for Newbee up in the top lane. Most likely, we saw them possibly want to flex it that last game, but they swapped it out with Thresh at the last minute. Which means LGD should go for a Braum Sivir here.
Yep, but 3 games in a row now looking towards that Trundle, so it's still prioritizing him. Does well in tight choke points with his pillar, which is where Newbee like to fight and have a lot of experience turning games around.
The Braum Sivir does get locked in for LG for a 2nd game in the row.
I feel like I've seen this draft somewhere before. No, but Imp is a phenomenal Sivir player. More importantly, though, it's a great denial away from Happy. Happy just does not look comfortable right now in his champion pool, not having that Ezreal to fall back on and then taking away the Sivir, putting him on Jhin. He's not doing the same amount of work that he needs to.
Well, let's see what Newbee going to pick up in return here. Lots of junglers Happy and left open. Even the Rek'Sai not even being banned out. So not a single jungler being banned out this game. So lots for Swift and for Intruder to play with.
He found success on Hecarim in the first game, itemizing into that Trinity Force from the Cinder Hulk. Ah, yeah. I'd like to
the Jhin or to the Rek'Sai?
No, it's the Rek'Sai. I just covered, excuse me, sir. I just covered how Happy is not the greatest Jhin player right now. Swift is a great Rek'Sai player, and I think it empowers exactly what Newbee need from Swift. They need him to gank early to get them ahead in their lanes, although they could potentially look for a lane swap.
Rek'Sai is going to be the lock-in of their choice. Like we mentioned, Happy's going to be picking up Jhin in this game, so tossing back and forth between Jhin and Sivir, the 280 carries in this match.
Punish now taking a gander at Twisted Fate. We already saw Dade's Twisted Fate earlier on in this series. Punished, also one of his better champions. Actually took down EDG with that pick when he used to play for Unlimited Potential.
Let's see if he does go back towards it. For now, they've already locked in their bottom lane, so it's the top side of the map that they have to pick for.
This guy just looks like a stone-cold killer.
He's an intruder, I can tell you that.
He's just going to match carry jungler for carry. He's like, Swift, give me the Graves.
Seems like it. It's going to be the Twist of Fate, going to be picked up here by Punished, as Graves is going to be the champion, that they pick up in the jungle for Intruder.
So far, Intruder defining himself as a carry-heavy jungler, although Graves can look towards that farming aspect. Typically from red side, though, based on pathing, you can get pretty cheeky with your level 2, level 3 ganks.
Still waiting to see what Newbee going to pick up as their final 2 picks of the day.
They definitely have the displacement and knockups with that Rek'Sai already picked in for Dade to look towards Yasuo.
Trundle as well, being picked up. It's a small area to knock people up with its pillar.
Can you imagine getting 5-man Yasuo ult because Trundle walks over and hits a 5-man pillar?
Yeah, I don't see that one happening too frequently.
I don't think it...
It's possible.
That'd be weird.
Darius pulls everyone into a tight corner, Oriana ultis, and you see the Trundle pillar. Then he decides to use the Yasuo ult.
We got it. We got the Dade Yasuo. He's already played it in the LPL. Yes. I'm excited. Let me be excited. You stop.
Okay.
Sir.
I will calm down.
Trying to drive hype, and this guy's just dying over here. He's like, Dade's Yasuo. But we've already seen it. I know he's one of the greatest Yasuo players to ever play Yasuo. But, you know, whatever.
I didn't say any of that. I don't know where this is coming from, Frostgrid. But yes, we will see the Yasuo in the mid lane. Dada will be picking up that champion. Marin will probably... not Marin, sorry. We'll see V probably play the Lissandra up in the top side of the map.
I would assume so. So you have the knock-up potential there from Swift on this Rek'Sai. Usually you see the Lee Sin Yasuo tandem, so I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't get to see Swift's Lee Sin, but otherwise got a lot of just individual carry talent.
Lock it in, PYL.
Speaking of a signature Marin champion.
Ooh. Signature Marin champion will take place here as Renekton is going to be locked in for LGD.
Yeah, Renekton's starting to come back a little bit based on his matchups. Obviously, Marin, very clear, knows how Lissandra's going to play out that lane. We saw him illustrate it beautifully last game. Says, you know what? Let's throw a curveball in this. Let's give myself some mobility to reach her and really start punishing in these trades.
Yep. I know Spawn really likes the matchup of Renekton into ranged champions like Vladimir. Pretty sure he would like it into Lissandra as well.
Works in a very similar way, but otherwise taking a step back at these compositions. Very similar, very strong 5v5 comps. Should be noted, though, that LGD have a bit more siege potential in their comp, unless Yasuo can really get ahead, although I missed Dade's second summoner spell, so I'm curious if he took a teleport or a defensive/aggressive spell.
Well, we can check in on that as we enter the Summoner's Rift shortly, but interesting picks coming out here. We've got a Yasuo, we've got a Renekton. Punish is back on Twisted Fate. There's a new jungler for LGD. Everything is shaping up in this series.
They're definitely looking up.
Well, let's see what's going to happen as we head into game number 3 between LGD and Newbee. We're heading on to Summoner's Rift here for game number 3 between Newbee and LGD. The series is tied up 1-1. It's still an important match for both these two teams, with unorthodox picks coming across left, right, and center. Yasuo being picked up, as well as the Renekton.
I'm not going to call them unorthodox. We've already seen both these champions take place in the LPL.
That's fair.
Obviously, they're a bit more niche, but I don't think it's out of too far left field, as we do have an invade coming through.
Gets spotted out by a ward though, so no LGD is here. Alright, we saw Dade play Yasuo this split. We've seen Marin play Renekton during the spring split, so nothing too surprising.
So quickly talking about where these lanes want to play on the map, at least for the initial part of the lane phase. You have a ton of kill pressure because you have hard CC in both LGD side lanes. So you have PYL with his concussive blows or Winter's Bite, and then you have Marin in the top with his stun. So as soon as Punish gets this level 6, he actually has the option to go either the bot or the top lane. So we'll keep track on which one he tries to swing. I have a feeling it's going to be Marin.
For now though, it's just going to be standard lanes coming up from these two teams, it seems.
It's actually Australian lanes.
Oh yeah, it is too.
And technically a lane swap.
Lane swap is going to be coming up, my bad. I got confused by the Graves.
You were looking at this gen scan, you're like, this is beautiful. He's on the bottom side as Marn forced to flash.
Very early here. They're still putting down a lot of damage on towards this Renekton. That's not a great start for him. But yes, we are going to see the lane swap coming out from Newbee. Oh, sorry, not Newbee, coming out from LGD.
Yep, and an invade from Newbee. In fact, Moore is going to go ahead and try to grab both of these Sentinels. Intruder!
He finds him, jumps over the wall. Now Moore actually putting a lot of damage down towards this Graves. Let's see who can win this fight. Exhaust going to come down. Moore wants this one-on-one. Can he get it? Flashes forward. It's not close enough. He wants it. The bloodthirsty support is going underneath the turret. Moore, you're a monster, but it's not going to be enough. Intruder finds first blood.
Moore's a monster. Intruder's a monster. Hold on. They're good. We're fine. That was the handoff to you. It's cool. No, Intruder just completely outplayed Moore. Moore was trying to use the exhaust as well as the blue buff. Aggro to burn down the Graves, but just beautifully orchestrated gives Intruder the control back in his own jungle.
That was a little bit too bloodthirsty coming out from Maul. He really wanted that one-on-one play.
But the thing is he had to make the one-on-one play because he knew that Marin and Twisted Fate were collapsing on him, so he has to look for the kill there because he's dead anyway.
And Trundle, a really good level 1 champion. I mean, is a top laner. I've seen some great play level 1 up on the top side of the map. More trying to put on his best Marin impersonation, or his best V impersonation even. Didn't quite work out. And already a good start for LGD. Stade going to go really aggressive on towards Punished, getting lots of damage down towards the Twisted Fate. Dashes back out as soon as he's done.
Naturally, these windows of trades are going to be around with the creep waves are stacked up to make use of Yasuo's dash. He's very abusive against low mobility mages like Twisted Fate, as you can see right there.
Ooh, so much damage going down here. Has to put the wind wall down. We'll be able to block out the return damage coming from Punished, who's already out of mana. Doesn't have teleport to get back into the lane either.
I mean, Dade just destroyed him in that trade.
He's got Swift nearby too. He's going to try and tunnel in. Goes for the flash, gets him up. No, Punish going to be able to escape the tornado coming up. But there's a dive coming for Dade. Gets the kill, but will die in return.
Trades 1 for 1. The big thing, though, is that Swift is able to push the wave in, or has the opportunity that he can do so. Should deny at least some experience from Punish, whereas Dade will be able to respond by TPing back to the lane.
Meanwhile, we do see the 80 carries from the top side of the map move back to the base. V's going to be donated all the gold from that turret. Marin will pick up quite a lot of gold from that as well. We have to see where they decide to go to next, if we're going to see the lane swap continue, or if there's just going to be center lanes coming back
Well,
again.
the bottom lanes are going and heading towards the other side lane. So again, gentleman's agreement, we're taking down these side lanes and we're opening up the map very early. And this is incredibly beneficial to LGD as the Twisted Fate and Sivir composition. In fact, Swift actually might find himself in a lot of trouble.
Has to be a bit careful here. It takes double tunnels to try and get away and juke people out, but it's going to get locked down by Punish. The passive comes out from Braum. Swift now going to get taken down. Boomerang Blade going to come out, takes another tunnel, but he's on the wrong side of the map. Dodges the wild card. He's on a wild goose chase right now as people are still trying to find him. Imp doesn't have his flash available, but will be able to throw out that final Boomerang Blade and takes down the kill.
And great collapse from LGD. Swift not playing to his strong side of the map. Again, we swapped the duo lanes. His duo went top side, so there's no reason to be in that blue side or that quadrant of the jungle.
But he was, and he gets punished for it. I don't know where to go from that.
No, you did.
I did not mean that pun. It took me by surprise. So we can see Imp has moved up into the top side of the map for LGD, looking to try and defend the outer turret that's left standing for them. As V is actually now pushing it quite deep on towards Marin, but there's a gang coming up behind him. That will be coming out from Intruder. V taking a lot of damage, has to try and flash away. The claw will come down to get him over the wall. But Punch is here. Throws down the gold card, gets the last auto attack. Smoke screen going to be enough to just shield his body from his death, but that's about it.
We talked about how an open map was better for LGD's composition, but this was under the the asterisk that Destiny was available. That's a level 4 Twisted Fate that just walked around the corner. LGD are just doing a beautiful job collapsing, and Newbee are not. They're just completely caught off guard about playing around their strong side of the map, overextending, being in the wrong side of the jungle.
They're getting lots of jungle pressure this game round coming in from Intruder, something that LG have been lacking for quite some time. Yeah, it's looking good for them.
Really liking Intruder right now. Looks like a big improvement so far, at least with his teamwork and cohesion over Amy.
Marin's still split pushing, well, not split pushing, so to speak, laning down the bottom side of the map.
He's just killing creeps.
Yep, getting as many of those creepies as possible. V's going to move down there too. Definitely
has a 10 CS lead right now on V, so LGD across pretty much every position in a healthy spot. Punished, yes, he's down in CS comparatively to Dade, and yes, Dade does have kill pressure on him in a 1v1 scenario, but with the kill gold underneath his belt, he's still in a very healthy spot, especially because he's closer to that level 6. Intruder's actually sneaking in behind Marn, so trying to catch V as he resets the wave and pushes back out. In fact, Imp and PYL are also joining them, so they're looking to make a play on this bottom side and then rotate into Dragon.
Might be able to take down the turret here fairly quickly as top side of the map still pushing for Newbee, so let's see what LG can do.
And I always really like this play. Effectively, you're ganking the teleport, and you're doing this so you can guarantee that you know exactly what your number advantage or disadvantage will be. Marn right now is walking into Fog of War to reset his positioning and to walk top to make sure that Newbee can't look to push through on this.
LGD getting some good damage down on towards this turret. In fact, they have left Intruder and PYL to go in towards Newbee's side of the jungle. Punish is still in a solo lane here against Dade, so to speak, isolated lane. Newbee are the first to take down the top lane outer turret, but that is with the help coming out from Swift. So Intruder instead wants to intrude into the enemy jungle and take away as many camps as possible first.
LGD have been setting up this gank on mid for a very long time, and I think it's actually just going to fizzle out as now Swift is also in position for a counter gank. Nope, they're all moving bottom.
Mm-hmm. It is a mountain dragon that spawned first in this game, so it's the possibility for Newbee or LGD to try and contest for it.
Difference between the two teams is the side towers go down, although LGD have yet to officially take the bot tower down. There we go. Is that Imp has been down there getting solo experience for quite a while, whereas Happy and Moore split the experience of the tower on the top side, and obviously having your strong side on the map bottom as well as placing your triangle vision mean that LGD can now easily rotate into this Mountain Drake.
So all 4 outer turrets on the top side and bottom side of the map have been taken out by both these teams. LGD already working on trying to take down that Mountain Dragon as well. So gold lead for LGD, good tempo control, and they've got the map advantage at the moment, it seems.
And it's still very early in terms of where the levels are and our cooldowns. Again, we haven't seen a Destiny used, and it's because Punish is just now level 7.
He's going to be able to take blue buff away as well, which is donated to him by Intruder. Moore pops his head out towards that buff too and tries to see what he can do about it.
Happy needs to be very careful. In fact, if Punished was a bit more heads up, that guy is just insta-dead. You just have to think, like, Twisted Fate was just on that side of the map picking up his blue buff. He's just going back and farming, but a bit of a missed opportunity because Happy to be that far forward up on a lane, knowing that the enemy is on their blue buff, a little bit irresponsible. But fortunately for him, LGD do not punish.
Happy using the ultimate as well to try and clear out the wave down at the bottom side of the map, but it's going to be blocked away by the Sivir and the Braum, so not going to be pick up the last few bits of CS he was looking at. Sade still farming in this mid lane, doing a pretty good job here. He's about 20 CS up ahead of Punished.
Yeah, Happy was trying to get the, like you said, using his ultimate, trying to bounce the wave back, but otherwise, Dade, again, still zoning Punished off with this Yasuo. The 1v1 still very strong, and V actually has a fairly deep freeze for now against Marn, although the wave is pushing out.
Punished to get a very early Rod of Ages pick up there in the mid lane. So we see if he can stack that one up nicely. The 2 kills he's picked up previously.
Newbee's bot lane will have to rotate to the mid lane, simply because Imp is now taking his turn to deep freeze on his side, or at least slowly push the wave forward, which means that the only play available for Newbee is actually in this mid lane. I think they're going to go for Herald.
They're positioning for it. We'll have to see if they do eventually move into the pit to try and take that one down.
They don't have any other options, which is why it's nice that Intruder was able to take control of the Scuttle Crab. So it's LGD again being very proactive and Newbee not having a lot of options. You don't want Doinby and Happy, not Doinby, wow, Dade and Happy farming in the same lane. I'm so sorry.
He's not even playing in the LPL anymore, Frostcurrent. What's going on?
I don't know.
You got mad at me for mixing up Swift and Amy.
At least they're in the same position.
Exactly. That's my point. But meanwhile, there's a Destiny coming out here trying to lock down more. He gets the stun down. Marin's going really aggressive too. It will be Punished that eventually picks up that kill. So LGD increasing their lead.
But the thing is Newbee had nowhere to go. So of course their LGD are going to be able to catch them with their pick ability on Twisted Fate as they're cheating through their jungle, trying to figure out where can I be, what resource can I farm, because LGD just took control of everything.
With the turret being taken as well, LGD now have a 2,000 gold lead over Newbee, so looking very strong to start this game off. This is something we expect from them when they go into the early laning phase, picking to win their lanes.
What? No, we do not expect this crisp of play. You are correct. We expect LGD to be good individual laners, but we are no longer in lane phase. All of the outer towers are down. This is about making correct and smart map plays. By controlling their waves, holding them in, and creating deep freezes, they knew that Newbee would have to go mid lane. So they then were like, okay, they can't be mid lane. Dade has to move somewhere else. Let's take the Rift or the Scuttle Crab so they can't get Rift Herald for free. And then they made a pick, and now they're about to make another one.
Well, they're looking to try and pick up Dade. Throws out the wind wall to stop Punish from putting the gold card down.
This is a much better performance from LGD.
Certainly is. Saving grace, you can say at the moment, as Dade is farming up the Storm. Hopefully he can be the late game monster we see a lot of Yasuo's be.
I mean, Dade had this reputation that he would hold the perfect cooldown at the most team fight changing moment. Still quite a bit deep on his itemization, only has the Phantom Dancer to his name, so still waiting for a sizable power spike for that Yasuo. But again, we're in a position where Dade is trying to figure out places to farm. He'd have to overextend heavily against Punish in this side lane, because Happy and Moore are sitting in the mid.
Imp and PYL going to be joining him in the mid lane as well, just to farm it up. Back and forth between the two AD carries.
Yep, right now Newbee and LG are actually just throwing the waves back and forth to each other. The only sizable CS discrepancy outside the mid lane is actually in that top side, Marin having the advantage 89 to 59.
All the other advantages at the moment, the only other advantage going on over towards Newbee. It's a 35 CS lead for Dade right now. He's been doing some work on this Yasuo.
But that's pretty much entirely made up for in the fact that Punish has 3 kills,
yep,
which accounts for about, what, 45 CS?
So because of that, fairly even. A little bit more quiet now coming up from Newbee and LGD.
Well, Dade's trying to farm to his power spike, as is Happy. You have 2 carries that perform very well into the late game. Lysandra does have the Roa, so waiting for that to stack, although she is technically a mid-game based champion. LGG, on the other hand, have a bit more tempo, but it's all unpunished. So the only thing that you should be looking for is literally that Destiny play. Otherwise, Newbie should continue to just ward their flanks, control their own jungle, farm this one up. They probably don't even want to contest for this dragon. Kind of depends on how good Dade is feeling.
Well, let's see if Punish can get that Destiny play off as Swift actually goes in and steals the Raptor away from the Intruder.
Smoted the Raptor.
This dragon does spawn here. It's going to be another mountain dragon.
Technically, Smite advantage to LGD right now, if they choose to set up for this.
Smite's back up.
Oh, he had the...
he had the second charge.
I just saw him like go in on that Raptor. Yeah, he had the second one up.
As Imp now actually might get caught out a little bit. The Critical is going to be popped down. Has to use the ultimate and flash to try and escape that. Lots of damage being put on towards this mid lane outer tower. PYL tries to save it.
Yeah, still a lot of respect going, though. So Newbee thought that they had caught LGD out of position on the rotation, opened up the curtain call, tried to force the wave clear off and quickly take it, but immediately respecting as soon as LGD showed back up. Now trying to use Fog of War as they move into bottom river.
Marin's actually pushed up this top lane quite nicely, heading into Fog of War, trying to see if he can get a teleport in, it seems. But Newbee should be able to secure this mountain dragon for themselves and pick up the second dragon of the game.
Yep, simply because LGD, even though they have the Destiny, not wanting to fight for it, instead taking the superior position on bot, top, and mid.
It's V now going to get jumped on by Marin. There's the Destiny being popped straight in towards the mid lane. Moore has to be really careful. He's just a support channel. Takes a lot of damage. Swift now trying to jump in. His Intruder finds the first kill. He's locked down by the Braum passive as V going to jump into the back. PYL taking a lot of damage. There goes the Yasuo into the fight. Happy finds a kill. Imp's going to get taken down next by Dade. And LGD, they go aggressive, but they lose so many members for it.
Dade still has his ultimate as well.
Intruder trying to go around the back and try and run away, but he's going to get jumped on. Dade's going to go in. Now they're trying to run even further. There's the ultimate coming out from the Yasuo. Picks up another kill. Marin, last man standing for LGD. And what a turnaround play for Newbee already. Marin should be able to escape. But that should not have happened in the first place.
And again, it's just that beautiful patience of Dade when he's on his Yasuo, you know, not using the ultimate right out of the gate, waiting for that perfect moment to completely shut down all of these kills. Great setup and fight. So it starts out, it looks like a good pick for LGD, but Intruder is actually caught on the other side of the tower, which means that it's a numbers disadvantage, because this Graves, he's impacting nothing for his team right now. Then you have the follow-up hard CC as V gets the flanking play, finds the Frozen Tomb, and now Intruder, who's been sitting here for the last 5 seconds doing nothing for LGD, is finally about to go down, and then Dade cleans up the do-si-do on this team fight, finds the final breath on Punished, and then resets his position on the other side of his team when Marn looks to isolate him.
Suddenly, after LGD worked so hard to create a lead for themselves, they're just throwing it all away. As now there's another fight taking place on the top side of the map. There's the curtain call. It's able to slow down PYL. Moore is still chasing. So is Dade, but they let them go. And that means that the gold is now almost even. LGD, they had a 4,000 gold lead. Now they're only 1,000 gold ahead of Newbee.
And entirely on the back of Newbee's ability to find the 5v5s, and where Dade wasn't necessarily feeling so hot on the Yasuo, although a decent power spike by having the Phantom Dancer in tandem with his passive is now going to be much stronger. Yep, goes back, immediately upgrades the pickaxe into the Infinity Edge. Oof. That is now a massive problem.
It certainly is. Lots of crit coming out from Dade, and enhanced crit on top of that too. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's a big power spike for Yasuo.
And that's the issue, because LGD were actually stronger theoretically in the last fight across the board with their items, but failed to execute. Intruder on the wrong side and not finding a pick before looking for the 5v5. Now it's a much more precarious situation.
Intruder getting caught out by Swift, takes a lot of damage. Happy was following up with the Deadly Flourish just to get a little bit more burst down. Not enough to find a pick, but Newbee, they found some footing in this game.
They found a lot more tempo now. So it's very scary to look across this. Yasuo, punished, can't do this safely. Ties up Marn, he doesn't have the TP.
They took down the Mountain Dragon previously too, so they tie up the two objectives, which means LGD can't even pivot off having multiple Mountain Dragons anymore.
It also means that we should be playing towards the top side of the map. The reason why you see both Rek'Sai and Twisted Fate, as well as Liss on the bottom. It's obviously their global presence with the Void Rush, Destiny, and Liss should have TP sooner or later.
Curtain call coming out, going to go straight in towards PYL, who put the shield down. Destiny's going to come out and return on towards Newbee. Dade's in position to try and lock them down. PYL will be hit by the Deadly Flourish, but Newbee just disengage after everything, as that was the shortest Destiny I have ever seen used.
Well, he popped it thinking that he needs to pivot and be there for his team. If they call for it, they decided not to counter-engage, so he just took the blue buff.
I think he could have walked closer to that blue buff than he
He had already popped it. Don't you take this away from him. His team, he was trying to be a good teammate.
Meanwhile, Newbee, they're able to take down the mid lane out of turret, but Mara has a word or two to say about that. Dade's gone straight into the backline, so they're doing a lot of damage. Mara's going to be the first to fall down. Punish now in a lot of trouble. They're still chasing her forward. A double kill going to come out for the Jhin. Dade dashing left and right. Intruders in the backline, so many low health bars. As Siva now going really, really far forward. Imp trying to find the kills. Does people back 2 for his team, but Newbee are looking really strong.
So they ran over LGD initially, but the AoE damage dealers are still up and available for LGD, so it's very scary for Newbee to continue to be clumped, which is why they disengaged from that fight so quickly. Got what they came for, which was the mid tower. LGD will get a couple of kills on the back half of it to their name, as well as this blue buff.
So Intruder does do a little bit of counter jungling and does pull it back slightly towards their favor. We'll head back to base as well.
Dragon spawning in 1 minute. This is kind of the next big objective that we should be crowding around. So it's about teams moving into that river, moving into that bottom quadrant side of the jungle and laying down deep vision.
There's another Mountain Dragon as well as Swift takes the tunnel and teleports over towards the red buff.
Newbee will have the advantage of having both double teleports available for them this time around. Dade is about to come off cooldown, whereas V already has his available. So they can start playing with the side lane pressure and their lane assignments. Again, Dade is very strong. It's very scary for Punish to be across from him.
Let's see how they can use this to their advantage. Dade going to be able to pick up a red buff here on his Yasuo. There's Imp now clearing out the wave.
The fact that they're all in on Dade so much so to give him the red buff versus Happy.
He's 5-2-3, 200 CS at the moment. So previously, Twisted was catching up in terms of kills. Now he's 40 CS and 2 kills behind this mid laner.
There's the Destiny pop. So a lot of pick potential.
You can see them.
Lost for now.
Can't see them anymore.
But here we go, playing the side wave. So Marn has pushed the lane forward, so he can now walk towards that dragon since it's just now spawned. Dade, with the teleport assurance, now moves up to the top side, is creating another pressure point back towards LGD, which, if they can stall this out long enough, someone will need to respond to, but is also resetting his positioning and walking towards the camp.
Dragon's up and online. LGD do have positional advantage at the moment. They actually start up this Mountain Dragon. Dade looking for a teleport flank here as Marin's being caught up by the Deadly Flourish. Swift gets a little bit of damage down. They stop the Dragon for now. Dade actually walking out of base as well.
And because Dade is walking, it should tell Newbee that they're just stalling and not looking for any sort of hard engage right now.
Well, Maren just used his slice to escape that, so his big gap closing ability is down for the next 10 seconds. Not capitalized by Newbee.
Good news for LGD is that they do retain control of the Scuttle Crab, so they do have some irremovable vision over this pit.
An extra movement speed of a fight does break out. Swift is looking for a steal here. Intruder going to leash out this dragon. Takes a lot of damage. Maren goes to the back lines. Happy with a good flash to get over the wall. Kurtikal comes out. He's going to be met by a Renekton that's just chasing him down. Meanwhile, Dade's into the back lines of a team fight once again. They're trying to peel the Renekton away. Maren going to be able to take down V and slice and dice his way out. But Happy, they're going to get the Deadly Flourish back down. Dade, meanwhile, takes down Punish. So even though Maren gets the assassination off the back of that fight, they still lose the dragon and another kill.
He's trying to teleport out, though.
Swift cancels it, or if Maren cancels it, it's forced to cancel it. Happy picks up another kill, so a 2-for-1 trade eventually with the Mountain Dragon picked up.
So we all have 10 members in that pit at once, but the fights break out where it's kind of a 1v1, a 2v2, maybe a 3v4 over here, just at different scenarios. Fortunately, Newbee come out on top. Secure the dragon as well as the extra kills.
They move towards the Baron pit here. Newbee looking to try and snowball this game into their advantage. A teleport is going to be coming into the Baron pit too, coming in from V.
Should be noted that Intruder does have the stronger smite, should it come to a smite steal.
Let's see if he does go in for the snipe. Said Happy, looking for a lot of damage down towards PYL. The Destiny's been popped as well. Rek'Sai's going to pick that one up. Intruder can't find the steal, and he dies for his troubles on top of that too. Newbee, they have turned the game around again.
At least Intruder did attempt the smite still. It's not like he just flashed into the pit and died. You can see his smite did go on cooldown. So valiant attempt, but Newbee now complete control of the game. And this is the first time that we've really seen them in control. It's been LGD the last 2 games that had the massive gold lead and then a comeback from Newbee.
When you think about it, they had control to start the game off LGD. They looked great. The proactive plays they were making just have fallen apart again.
Pretty much at the hands of the 5v5, and we say this all the time. It's where Newbee have always been strong, even before they were Newbee. It's where they continue to be strong, picking up Dade and adding that to their repertoire.
Even when they're tens of thousands of gold behind, they're still able to pull it back.
You can change the players, you can change the name, but the teamfight kings prevail. Dropping the ball today, Fish.
I don't know what's going on, Frosco. I'm trying to come up with something smart to say about it, but everything I pull back to just doesn't work, so I just stay quiet and admit my defeat.
Bam! Look at that gold swing. I'll help you out with this graph.
Yeah. Thank you, Frosco.
So the important thing is now Newbee are in full siege mode. They're opening up into their 4-1, and they're now trying to force LGD off of the tower. But this is why we see the priority and importance of Braum, especially as Jhin has increased in popularity in the LPL. But someone has to respond to Dade, and the only person who can match across from him without dying is Maren.
Still going to be a very tough thing for Maren here, because Dade now has some lifesteal, can sustain himself up in the top lane for quite some time.
This is cool, though. Because V's teleport is down, they're actually using Swift as kind of the pseudo-teleport, and he's creating pressure bottom. So Newbee controlling every aspect of this lane and forcing LGD to hemorrhage turrets.
Lots of damage going down towards the mid lane. In the turret coming up from Happy there. He takes a little bit of damage in return, but immediately Newbee moved their way down towards the bottom side of the map.
Yep, and it's the importance of prioritizing bottom side right now. There's no reason to play towards the top side because Baron has been taken. They want to see if they can get lucky, take advantage that they can of the bottom side of the map, and use this pressure point later should another Baron spawn.
Happy to go back to base just then. Picks up his Dustblade of Drakthar. Already had the Yomu's Ghostblade and a pickaxe. Now has a Quicksilver Sash too. So 2 Quicksilver Sashes picked up by Newbee. Dade's already upgraded his into a Mercurial Scimitar. And a GA should be coming out shortly from Swift. So lots of power spikes coming out from the Newbee roster. They're going to look at... Words are hard for us, and they're going to look to try and use that to take it to LGD in this game.
They're using it as protection against the pick potential from LGD, particularly the gold card. The other CC that they can really get rid of is Renekton when he dives the back line, which we've seen that Maren is more than happy to do as he rushes towards Happy every single time.
He's got his Black Cleaver and now a Randuin's Homer to reduce some of the crit damage that will come out from both Yasuo and from Jhin.
And, you know, Spawn really likes talking about damage Renekton builds simply because if this guy ever gets onto your AD carry, he's pretty much going to two-shot him. And this is kind of the reason why we've seen the rise of more utility-based AD carries as opposed to hard carry AD carries. It's just the power in the top lane right now and how many tools and threats they have to just delete you as a position.
And this is very aggressive coming from Newbee. Teleport coming into the bottom lane to try and save that minion so he can take down the bottom lane out inner turret. And it looks like they want to continue trying to siege this bottom lane too.
Yep. We're going to continue to play around the bottom side of the map for at least another minute 30 seconds as also that dragon is spawning, but they want this inhib. If LGD dive here, they will lose the game.
Here's the curtain call coming out. Actually, a teleport coming into the backlines as well. The ultimate does come out from Intruder just to clear the wave and try and chunk out the remaining members of Newbee. Marin's now trying to chase. Traffic Cone does come down to stop the rest of the team. Newbee turn it back around. No more Baron buff to buff up the minions. As Dade spots out Marin. Roam around towards the bottom side of the jungle, was able to catch him out. They don't lock him down though. And like he said, Dragon's going to be coming up in 40 seconds here. Possibility for Newbee to try and prioritize that.
But all in all, they don't take the inhib tower, but they do take the teleport advantage, which can be punished by the next time the Baron spawns.
Let's see what Newbee do. This Dragon's up in 25 seconds. The rest of LGD have actually gone back to base and picked up their items. Lichbane coming out for a Twisted Fate as well as the Zhonya's Hourglass.
LGD could look to fight this, and they could actually safely walk over to the pit if they used Destiny. Although, as you can see, Newbee actually trying to set a trap.
Still going back to try and find that trap. Dragon is now up. And Newbee immediately move over towards the pit. The Infernal Dragon would be something they're very happy to take this game.
Especially
Fire Dragons today.
28 minutes. It's going to be a big boom of power.
And there's a teleport actually coming in from the Lissandra. They do lock down Punish. Has to use his Zhonya's Hourglass rather early, but does get taken down. V finds that kill. Now it's a 4-on-5. Newbee will look to try and push even more.
And frankly, you have to think that that's kind of a misuse of cooldowns. The Destiny was still there and available. Yes, if you're not going to use it as a pick, you can at least do it to walk towards that Fog of War safely. Because he doesn't use it, he is picked off from Fog of War by Lissandra and deleted.
As Marin also has different priorities. Instead of looking to defend this turret, he's going to try and take down Red Buff. Now realizes his mistake. Moving on towards the team. The collateral damage does come out. Marin's popped his ultimate, looking to go on top of Happy there. Gets knocked up while he's dashing it. Will still get on top of it, but Dade's going to the back lines. Gets exhausted, but let's go back to Marin. He's going to get taken down. He gets peeled off of Happy. Meanwhile, Dade and V in the team fight, dealing with 3 members. They lock down PYL. Curtain Call comes out, slows him down even further. The third and fourth shot will not connect as Dade. He's still dashing left and right. Not going to land a knock up onto it. He goes in. Gets the ultimate, locks 2 down, gets Intruder, back on top of Punish, takes him down. Now they're diving onto the next 2. Imp and PYL, they fall, and a clean ace coming out from Newbee.
Marn gets desperate, tries to dive onto the backline, but the power of Trundle support is there to strip away those resistances and just have him be forced off, whereas Newbee, on the other hand, can afford to put Dade diving the back line and zone off 3 members.
And one play just in the base of LGD is all it takes for Newbee to wrap up this series and pick up the win against LGD.
And it's nice to see Newbee falling back to their stereotypical win conditions. It's the 5v5 team. That's where they thrive. They struggle in the lanes. We saw them, try out some different lane swaps to try to alleviate that pressure. They were kind of worked the early game, but managed to come back strong, especially on the back of Dade's Yasuo.
And they played that one fantastically. Dade had a phenomenal game with the Yasuo.
You were not excited enough in Champions League when we saw Dade's Yasuo.
Fair enough.
I have seen the damage that champion can wreck.
Well, now I've seen it again here as Dade. Another impressive performance, like we said. Newbee, they find the 2-1 victory over LGD in a very prolonged series, very long series as well. And finally, LGD are no longer 1 game out of playoffs. I'm very happy they can say that now.
But the fact is that, yes, it was a long all 3 games, but who that plays to is Newbee. Again, they have the longest average game time in the LPL. It sits around 40 to 41 minutes. And anytime that there is a long game and Newbee come out on top, you have to say, okay, well, obviously they were in complete control of that game, or they were able to at least... They're not quite like Team WE. They're not as great at minimizing losses purposely. They kind of minimize losses through reactionary just talent. This is a good... Here we go. So where Team WE are amazing at making long games... You look confused. No,
yes,
it's cool.
I'm waiting.
They're great at making long games because they have like a roster of like B-grade talent that just is stacked together to make Team WE, you know, an A-grade team.
Yep.
Newbee are like almost the inverse of it, but a very similar style. They're going to draw out games because they have to go to that 5v5, but the only reason that they're strong in the 5v5 is because they have so much talent on the roster. The fact that they have someone like Dade, that they have someone like Swift. Get it? Get it now?
Yep.
No? Yeah.
So that kind of shows why Newbee and TW, although very late game teams, have kind of different ways of getting into that late game.
I think that Newbee just kind of wander into it, which is also why they sit on a very different portion of the standings, whereas like Team W are a bit more methodical about it.
Yeah, and that actually kind of showed in their last match against OMG. Went to 67 minutes game, so a very long game for Newbee against OMG there. But I think one talking point we have to talk about is still Intruder was a huge difference for LGD, even the loss against Newbee.
Yeah, and it's because they have control over the jungler. They have a fifth man on the map. I mean, unfortunately, Amy just hasn't synced up with the team. You know, he's not there available in the counter ganks. It means that LG don't have a lot of responses when something does happen on the map. They can't look elsewhere to make something happen. But Intruder looked really strong in game one, obviously kind of defining himself as more as a carry-oriented jungler. Unfortunately, couldn't make it happen in game two. In fact, he actually made a pretty grievous error at that mid-inner dive where he got separated from his team and had to stand behind the tower, because by then Dade was able to upgrade into the Infinity Edge, and that Yasuo went from being, you know, kind of an issue in that team fight to holy shit, we can't do anything about this.
And the MVP for the last game, we're going over towards Dade on his Yasuo. There's no one else he could have really given it to in that game for Newbee. And
it's always, we say this every time, because there's so much talent in the league, you have people like Imp, Def, Dade, Swift all running around, all the Samsung, old Samsung guys. When they get to play their signature champions, it's just a joy to watch.
Certainly is. It was a joy to watch Dade as well.
This is the team fight, actually. This is the turning point of the game, because up into this point, LG are actually in great control and momentum and tempo of the game. But you can see right here, Intruder is actually separated out from his team. Dade plays the team fight beautifully just on a pickaxe and a Phantom Dancer, which is still a decent power spike for Yasuo, but it is definitely not the Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer that he then comes back from after winning that fight.
And like you said, you mentioned this halfway through the game, how Dade was really well known for holding those crucial abilities and crucial ultimates for the key moment in those team fights. He did it in a few of those big team fights for Newbee that completely turned it around too. He's a very phenomenal player, especially on that Yasuo.
Yeah, and it was in that team fight as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the back half of it, but he is he's about to get singled out by Marn's Renekton, and he uses the final breath to reposition himself on the other side of the team fight. Technically, it saves himself, but that's just kind of like the quintessential essence of Dade, especially when he's on a champion like Yasuo, who has that power to make the game-changing 5-man final breath.
So what do we expect from Newbee moving forward? Because now they're 4-6, you know, get another point here with the win against LGD. Are we still going to see the same errors coming from them? Are they still going to rely on those final team fights?
Yes. That's the problem, is that actually even though LGD lost the series, we actually saw more growth from LGD, you know, trading out their jungler. They looked a little bit, or a lot crisper, a bit better, kind of on the upswing, whereas Newbee are still winning through their same old ways. What we need to see from Newbee is we need to see Swift stepping up, being that early game jungler that we know he has the potential to be, or we need to see Dade particularly looking for the 1v1 superior matchup. This time around, he did have the Yasuo into the Twisted Fate, but let me see the draft phase. I was going to say, oh no, he picked into it. I was going to say, I thought Punish picked the Twisted Fate into the Yasuo, but we need to see more of that. More of dominant lane phase, dominant lane champions, and then winning those lane phases rather than continuing to lose lane phase and just praying that you can get that Hail Mary deep pass.
And pulling back onto LGD there, they definitely looked a lot stronger when they brought Intruder into the jungle. We've talked about that quite a few times before and after the game itself. But are we going to see him play a lot more? Because they have been experimenting with junglers throughout the year almost, but they've been pulling people in and out. But Amy kind of is still always there. Do you think Intruder will see more play than Amy now? Do we still have to see how he's going to perform later on in this game? Because Amy looked like he was fixing a couple of problems in game one, but just not everything.
It's just also very different styles. Again, even though Amy was known... It's funny, Amy was known for his Kha'Zix when he was in the LSPL and on Unlimited Potential. He was a carry-oriented jungler, but you would never say that's his identity on LGD, whereas Intruder comes up onto the lineup, immediately picks Kha'Zix and goes off. So, for whatever reason, the synergy isn't there with Amy. I would like to see LGD continue to go forward with Intruder. I think he brought a great threat to the map. and especially in how he's working in tandem with Mara. Because that's the thing, Amy and Punish were from the same team, UP. So we expected them to work together, and Intruder is working much better with the top side of the map.
And speaking of Punish, he's been playing really well for LGD. You know, has a single MVP performance now, but he's been holding his own in that mid lane and making some impressive plays. Game 1 stands out where he was playing LeBlanc and almost turned that game around for LGD too.
And that's the difference between, we say it all the time, LGD in victory and LGD in defeat. It's not on the back of Marn and Imp. You expect them to perform, you expect them to be those carries. It's now who's going to be the wild card that shows up as the third guy. Is it going to be Amy? Is it going to be Punish? Or is it going to be PYL?
And that was the first game of the night, which was between Newbee and LGD. It was a 2-1 victory for Newbee. We're going to go into a 10-minute break, but we will be back with the second match of the night, which will be Saint taking on OMG.